That's fine. We're going to introduce who we are so that you guys at least know who's here today. And I'm going to have our campus director introduce himself first.
All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Lopez. I'm the campus director over at Stanbridge University, Los Angeles. We have 3 campuses, so we have one in Orange County. We also have one in Riverside County, as well as the one here in Alhambra. We are focused on lots of different programs, so it's not just the nursing. We also have Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. We also have occupational therapy assistant, physical therapist assistant.
Gary,
so,
closer to this is the mic.
For the camera.
Okay.
But you're projecting well enough.
Good. Okay. So let me go ahead and start once again. So my name is Gary Lopez. I'm the campus director over at Stanbridge University, Los Angeles. So I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to come over here and talk. I just wanted to say that we have 3 different campuses, one in Orange County, one in Riverside County, as well as the one here in Alhambra. So we're very excited to kind of come up and talk to you about the vocational nursing program, but we also, like I mentioned earlier, offer a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. We also offer occupational therapy assistant as well as physical therapist assistant. So if you ever have any questions about any of those programs, feel free to talk with either Ms. Catherine Bailey or Mr. Michael Mirabella, and they'll share more information regarding that. So thank you so much.
Do you want to come this way? Just so the online people can hear you. Yeah, right there. No, you're good.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joey Abad. I'm the program director at Stanbridge University, LA, for the vocational nursing program. Thank you for allowing us to come here and discuss with you what we have to offer. If you guys have any questions, afterwards, you guys are more than welcome to ask. I'll be sure to answer them shortly. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Lynn.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lynn Ortesa. I am the financial aid director for our Los Angeles and our Riverside campus. I'm sure you all will have financial aid questions, so we'll definitely address all the questions that you may have today.
Celeste.
Hi, you guys. My name is Celeste Farrar. I'm a career service officer at the LA campus. That means that I handle your resumes, your LinkedIn portfolio, as well as any questions about jobs or applications post-graduation. So I am one of the representatives at the Los Angeles campus.
Thank you, Celeste.
Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine Bailey. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at the Alhambra campus. So I'll be running the chat.
Thank you. And last but not least, I'm Michael Mirabella. I am the Regional Director of Admissions for Stanbridge University. So I oversee our Irvine campus, Alhambra, and our Riverside campuses. Anything that does with admissions to get in. So I'm going to make it really simple for everybody online and here. It's a 3-step process. This is one of the steps. So when we're done today, you have 2 more things you have to do to get in if you want to be considered. We make it very easy. Somebody holds your hand through the process. Anybody that wants to go to Stanbridge could be accepted by tomorrow. Okay, it's that quick. All right, we will show you what to do. We will guide you through this process. It's not overwhelming. It's not a big deal. If you're interested, we'll gladly help you. And we don't care which campus you go to. So we do have students from Premier that have already been applying to the Irvine campus. So we're open for Irvine and Alhambra for the BN program, not yet in Riverside. It's not approved yet. And then our BSN program is at all 3 campuses. So there may be some BN students that want to stop BN and just go right into BSN. That is actually very possible. So I'm going to talk first about BN, just a general overview of the program, and then how you get in. But I can also answer questions about BSN, because I know that we've gotten some questions from people like, should I even finish this out? At Stanbridge, no, you don't have to. You can jump right into BSN if that's your goal and what you want to do. So I just want to mention that to you. So let me scroll through here. Hopefully everybody online can hear. All right, so real quick, we just want to talk about, hold on, let me minimize that phone while I'm talking. Just to get that out of the way. Okay guys, so just to show you, one of the things that we did this year is we changed our vocational nursing program to a degree. All right, so that was our biggest program, and part of the reason we did that is the enhanced NCLEX that's going to happen. So for those of you that are in the pre-VN, you're going to take the most difficult NCLEX exam in history. They're changing it, they're making it more difficult, so we need to prepare our students for it. All right, I don't know how many colleges have done this, but this is in the forefront of Stanbridge. We started planning this last year, and we launched it this year. And so it's enhanced core, it's stronger preparation for your NCLEX. All right, it's called the NGN, just so you guys know. So anybody testing in 2023, you're going to be required to take the next generation. All right, so that is a major shift in the nursing world that not all schools are prepared for. All right, so if I'm the consumer, I mean, I'm the student, I want to find the cheapest, fastest program I can. That's mistakes 1 and 2. All right, cheapest doesn't always mean it's better. 2, fastest definitely doesn't mean it's better, okay? So here's what I would say to you guys. Wherever you go, and it is, you guys have options. I know Northwest was here. I know there's some other colleges. I really want you to do your due diligence, and we don't care where you go. If it's Stanbridge, wonderful, we're going to take care of you. If it's not, what you need to ask yourself is, am I going to be prepared to pass the next generation NCLEX? Is this school going to prepare me? I'm going to show you how we're preparing it. I would hope that the other schools have told you how they're doing it. I almost want to guess they haven't. Okay? So Stanbridge is sort of always ahead of the curve in preparing students. You need to study and prepare now for this exam that you're going to take when you're done. You cannot at the last minute catch up. It's not that type of exam anymore. The past NCLEX, anybody they know that's an LVN or RN could memorize questions. That's what they're taking right now. And they will say to you, oh, it was easy. I just did a bunch of tests, memorized the questions. I took hundreds a day, and I know the answers. It isn't that any longer. So just know there's a drastic shift, all right? I know we have 2 groups of people. We have the pre-VN students, which for me, those are the students I would be helping. The additional students who are in the programs in terms of how much can they transfer and do all that, we can accommodate those students, but we're not sure all the details today. That's why we have Mr. Abad here, Mr. Lopez. We would probably have you guys come to campus. It's on a case-by-case basis. I just want to address that. So these are just some of the things: extended employment opportunities and professional earning. You're going to have a degree versus a diploma, okay? You want to sign? You good? You get that? Okay, guys, Stanbridge University for 5 years is averaging 96% in our pass rate, okay? So one of the things that we do, and we do it extremely well, is prepare our students. The first thing you got to do is graduate from a nursing program. Second thing is pass your NCLEX. You are not getting paid, and you're not an LVN or an RN unless you pass it. The RN program, just so you know, is 98%. All right. Now, one of our secrets, and I'm so happy to hear you guys do this, is ATI. Okay. I think ATI is the secret to get people to pass the NCLEX. We've been using it since the inception of our nursing programs, and our students have done exceptionally well. Okay. You guys are using ATI. One of the concerns for us as a university is, will you be well prepared? How do we know you're going to even know ATI? I'm so happy Ms. Heidi said you guys are using ATI. That is going to help you drastically, okay? So I just want to point that out. Real important. We're proud of our pass rate, but you're a nurse if you could. Why should you pick Stanbridge? Well, right here, first slide, is academic rigor towards licensure. Everything we do is focused to get you to pass that NCLEX. All right, everything from day 1 to the end of the program, all right? Thus our 96% pass rate. Innovation and technology. One of the things that I kept saying to Ms. Heidi is, I want to get students to the campus because you have never seen what we have. All the other schools that you're going to look at combined don't have what we have, okay? So one of the things is we have an anatomage table. And it's like I call it a giant iPad. You can zoom in to the body, and it's hundreds of layers of body, real bodies, that have been frozen and scanned in so that you can touch a part of it and say, oh, there's the heart, there's the lungs, there's the liver. If you're a visual or hands-on learner, the anatomage table is phenomenal, okay? And you'll be able to peel layers back from the skin to the muscles. You'll go all the way down, you go down to the brain, and you can build the body back up. It is phenomenal what this tool can do. If you come to campus, we will let you slice it up, touch it, do whatever, but you need to see this to see, how does Stanbridge teach their students? One of them is this, okay? I'm going to take you on also a visual tour of the campus to show you some of the other things, but students, hands down, pick Stanbridge because of our technology, all right? And they're visual hands-on learners. We also require our students to give back to the community. So at every campus, we provide opportunities. So next week, we're doing a blood drive in Riverside. So if students want to sign up and get credit for that, they can. We did a beach cleanup in Orange County. We feed the homeless in Alhambra. So what we do is we provide these opportunities. The students have to do X amount of hours throughout the program to graduate. If they don't do it, they don't graduate. So it's that important to us. It's not like, oh, okay, if you didn't do it, we're going to sign off. No, you have to do this. So as a nurse, as somebody in the medical field, you have to give back to the community. It is a requirement for a Stanbridge grad to learn that. Maybe some of you have never done that. I'm sure many of you have, but if you have never done that, that's okay. We're going to provide them for you. If you've done past things, you don't get credit for those. It has to be through our outreach department, just so you're aware, okay? But students pick us all the time for that. They'll say, I like that you guys give back, all right? Excellence. On niche.com, we're ranked the #5 nursing school in California. That's between, I think, the RN and the LVN. On this one is nursing. I can't even read it anymore. What does that say, Joe? My eyes are so big. Yeah. So we're #1.
Nursing process.
Yeah, nursing process. That's what it is. I forgot this one off by heart. We're #1 according to nursingprocess.org. We're #5 at niche.com. We're also one of the top 10 diverse universities. All right, we have a very diverse student population and our employees, very diverse group of employees who work at Stanbridge, okay? So those are just some of our awards. On our website, there are tons of other ones that we've received and won over the years. All right, so student services. So I'm admissions. Catherine Bailey is admissions. What we do is we help you get in. So anybody that wants to come to our program, here's what I would tell you, and I'm not exaggerating. Tomorrow, Saturday, or Monday, you can be accepted to our program if you want to move that fast, okay? If you said, I want to take my time, no problem. You can go as slow as you want. We do have VN classes starting Monday, what is that, Catherine, the 10th? 9th. May 9th, sorry. Keep the knows. May 9th is our full-time VN program. It's an associate's degree. All right, anybody that wants to join. For you pre-VN students, you will get credit for those classes. However, we need to see your transcripts, see the grade. But the 3 classes that you're taking, I'm going to show you, they would transfer in. All right, so you get credit, you will save money. So it's not going to shorten anything, but it is going to lower the cost as well as give you credit so you're taking less classes. That's easy, okay? That's the easiest of the group of people. So any pre-VN students, no problem. It's the other ones we're going to have to do case by case to see where you are, which classes you have. Are you wanting to go into the associate's program, or are you wanting to go into the diploma program? And that's where it gets more complicated. One thing I will tell you, we've done this with other schools. Brightwood College closed a few years ago. We took the bulk of their students. Many of them came in, saw what we did. Now, they didn't use ATI, but they came in and they said, I want everything over. I don't care, because I want to be the best. Some people say, no, I want to transfer everything I can, and that's fine. So each individual is going to want to do other things. Students also, and even from Premier, have said, I don't want to do the VN program. If I can get into your RN program, that's the direction I want to go. So that's another option as well, and we'll talk about that. Student services takes over. So once we get you in, we push you over to this department. What do? Look at the top 3 things. They help you get faculty tutors. So if you need help with a tutor, we can get it with one of our staff members. We also hire and pay other students who are at the top of their class to tutor you. So we will provide that assistance. And then virtualized tutoring. Prior to the pandemic, we used something called Zoom, meaning what we're using today here. We've been using Zoom for years. So we'll do tutoring. Maybe we find a better tutor that works at your time, that lives in Irvine, and they're going to that campus, but they're going to tutor you for a class that you're taking in LA. Not a problem. We use an app to schedule tutoring. So you download the Stanbridge tutoring app, you go through, you can pick the times that you want the tutor, it's going to set it on your calendar. It's very simple, all right? Students love the ease of use there. So if you look tutoring, we do something called first year seminar series. We also have mentoring and advisory. And I basically tell people, we all deal with life's challenges and problems. So you're going to have these seminar classes that deal with test taking, anxiety, dealing with other family members. Like I'm asked to help all my family members and I have to study. How do I deal with that? So there's a lot of support on how to do that. Academic support. When you take an exam at Stanbridge and you press enter, you get your results. So does your student service officer. If you did not do well in a class, they are going to contact you. And they're going to say, Johnny, you didn't do well on your quiz. You need a tutor. And they're going to call you, and they're going to email you, and they're going to text you, and they're going to bug you until you respond. That's their job. Now, I had a student one time get approval from their professor that they couldn't make it to a particular class. And their student service officer kept bugging them. And she called me and said, they keep bothering me. I already had approval. And I said, well, they don't know that, right? So just respond to the email and say, thank you so much for your follow through. I got it cleared, okay? So what I'm saying is they're going to harass you because we want you to graduate and be successful, okay? You get a dedicated student service officer. Your cohort gets one person. They're going to follow you, track you, support you, whatever it is that you need. I mean, sometimes it's outside of school. Students need transportation issues, and we're going to help them find options. Maybe it's something medically. We're going to help them find things. So they're going to go above and beyond. It's not just about nursing school. It's about your life. So our goal is to get you through successfully to pass that NCLEX the first time. By the way, if you don't pass your NCLEX the first time, does anyone know what the pass rate is the second time? 50%. So you have a 50% chance of failing the second time. So what we say is you have to pass the first time, and especially on the NGN. The next generation is going to be harder. You do not want to fail that, okay? Student services will constantly be there to support you. At the same time, you may never even talk to them because you don't need them. Each student, of course, is different. Some are going to need more support. Great, they have it. And some will need less. But they're there to back you up and sort of have your back. Career services. We have Celeste here. She mentioned this is a little bit of what they do. Even while students are in the program, if they're working in a job, CNA or somewhere, and they say, you know, my work won't work around my work schedule, Celeste can step in and say, well, let's see what we can find you that works better, okay? Of course, they take a more aggressive, active role when you graduate. And this is also lifetime. So if you want to go work in another state, you know, a lot of people want to move out of state, it's expensive. So they move to Texas. Oh, great, it's cheaper in Texas. And then after a few months, they go, this is terrible, I made a mistake. Now they want to come back. Guess what? You can call Career Services at Stanbridge. You're a graduate. They're going to help you come back to California and make that. But that's just some of the things that they do. Phenomenal support with them. One of the very first things we do is we set up your LinkedIn account if you don't have one, and they help you put your resume together right away. And then they tell you other things you should be doing to make your resume look better. We want to get you the highest pay possible. All right? There's some people that are making really low pay as an LVN, and there's some people that are off the charts making RN pay. How do I get to the RN pay as an LVN? Career Services is going to show you how. All right? But think about it. When you apply for a job, there are two people are going to apply, and let's say they both get the job. One makes $5 an hour less. I mean, we might say that's unfair. No, they did a better job on their resume, better job in their interviewing, better job preparing themselves. Celeste and her team is going to tell you how that's done. We can't make you do it, it's up to you, but they're going to put the information in front of you to make it you the best possible. So that's what they do. All right, let's get into the classrooms that we have. So every classroom at Stanbridge University looks like this. There's a laptop on the desk, and it's connected to a smart board. So when the professor's up here doing stuff, you can watch it right in front of you. You don't have to squint to look at the board. But also, as they're taking notes, remember test 2, it's on your laptop. You can add additional notes. When you close that laptop and you sign into your account on your phone, everything's there. All right? When you go home, sign into your desktop, everything's there. That PowerPoint presentation, notes that you took, everything's there for you. In addition to that, we have, you can't see them, oh, right here. There's a little clicker under each desk. So as someone's doing a presentation in class, let's say I'm teaching about anatomy, and I can tell the class half of them got it, half of them look confused. So I may ask a question. I can do a poll, instant poll, to say, okay, what's the answer? What do you guys think? Well, let's put an NCLEX question up there. What do you think? Have everybody answer it right there at their desk and get instant feedback to know, listen guys, we got to go back over this. You didn't get it. That's okay. But they're going to have instant, so that's the type of technology. Smart boards, if you haven't seen it before, it works like a regular whiteboard or chalk. We can make it a chalkboard. Also, we can play videos, PowerPoints, and whatnot. So it's kind of a combination of everything. Students really like that, and professors do as well. So those are just some of the things. So we call it digital, cloud-connected digital classrooms, because they're all tied in together. Okay, so we're going to move right along. All right, you guys know the roles and responsibilities. I am not going to go into those details. Okay, so this is, again, definitely get it. If you guys want, take a photo of this if you want. This is the classes for the associate's degree. I'm also going to pull up the diploma program, okay? But this is the associate's degree, so if you're online, take a screenshot of this. So anatomy, I think, so you pre-VN students, okay, ready? Anatomy should transfer, math for nurses should, and medical terminology. 3 of those 4 classes should transfer, okay? Now, the only thing is, Heidi, I still don't have that course description. I think the med math's gonna be okay, but we just need to confirm. But we're pretty confident all 3 of those would transfer. So if you're a new student, pre-VN, it's easy. You transfer in 3, you gotta take 1 class, which is the fundamentals of healthcare communications. That's the 1 class the students take. Now, the way this program works, and this is important that you understand, every term, it's a hybrid program. And what I mean by that is, in term 1, students are coming to class 2 days a week in our full-time program, and the other classes are remote. They're taking them online. So every term, it's blended like that, where I'm taking some things online, I'm taking some things on ground. So I'm going to show you the very specifics, but each term will be different. So it's not a 7 to 3:30 Monday through Friday. It used to be. The VN program is still that. The AVN program is more of this hybrid that we got approval from the board to teach a certain percentage every term. It could be on Zoom, live Zoom, what we call synchronous. It could be asynchronous, where we record things and you watch it. And it could just be, I'm at 2 o'clock in the morning, want to take some of my classes. Your online classes, you have the flexibility to do that. The things that are more difficult, more challenging, you've got to be here on campus, okay? So each term, these terms, by the way, they run in 10 weeks. So while you're in these terms, it's a 10-week term, and then you have your cumulative final at the end of that, and then you get a week off, roughly. Term 2, 10 weeks, tested, week off, and so forth. 7 terms, all right? So I'm going to show you all of these. And Joe, if you want to add anything, you feel free to. I don't know if you do.
Well, just to add as well, not only do we have a full-time program, for our associates, but we also do offer a part-time program as well. That course is a 15-week term. So you do 15 weeks, so about every 7 weeks you'll take a midterm, then at the end you'll take the final, you have a week off, then you move on to the next term. Right? So
it's exactly these classes, they just run 15 weeks versus 10, that's it. So again, full-time and part-time. I know some students may be in the part, yes?
You mentioned the schedule.
I'm going to pull that up after this, yes. So I'm going to get to the actual schedule here after I show this. I just want you guys to get screenshots of these and see all 7 terms. So I'm not going to get into all of them. Now, if you're in the VN program, you can't go from the VN program into the diploma program. It doesn't match, okay? You would have to go into our VN program. So we still have a VN program. It's kind of, we're teaching it out, okay? So here's what I will tell you. We have even our own students in our VN program have left to get into the degree program. They said, I want the degree. So more people want the degree right now, but you got to decide what's best for you guys, okay? So this is, again, I'm going to focus this. I'll show you the classes for the VN as well, but those are the 7 terms. I just want you guys to see that, all right? And I want you to get, for those of you with your cameras, your phones, take pictures of these. You can also go to catalog.stanbridge.edu if you want to see them. However, they don't show them like this in terms. That's why I want you guys to get photos. And if you didn't get screenshots or photos, I can go back for you before we're done today, okay? I know some of you have. Maybe you can send them out to everyone. Okay, so this is how we prepare you, and I'm surprised at how many schools don't use ATI. They use HESI, they use Kaplan, and let me tell you, we have a higher pass rate than all those schools, all right? So what I would tell you is I'm a firm believer. I'm not a nursing student. I'm not a nurse. I'm not an expert on this, but from what I see from students coming from other universities and colleges, when they're on ATI, they do great. When they're not, it's 50-50, okay? So these are just some of the things. I don't know, are you involved at all, Joey, in this?
Absolutely.
Do you want to share what you're doing or what we're doing?
For our next generation NCLEX, as you guys know, that they will be implementing it. Sorry.
Yeah,
The NGN, which is the next generation NCLEX, they will be implementing it April of 2023. And we have now implemented it across all of our programs that will be expected to take it. Throughout your program, you'll have an ATI capstone, which will kind of recap everything that you've learned in ATI. Virtual ATI is something that we start a month before your exit exam. We prep you and get you prepared to take the exit exam. And at the end of that virtual ATI, you'll be able to achieve something called the green light. Have you guys heard the green light? So the green light will determine how well or a probability of you passing the NCLEX. So with all of that said, we get you well prepared to take your NCLEX exam.
And let me tell you guys, we've had students test that didn't have a green light, they don't pass. Do not take the NCLEX until you get the green light on your ATI. And so people get anxious and they get, well, I want to go just take it and get it done. If you're not getting a green light, this is a predictor of, are you going to pass the NCLEX? You get the green light, you can pass. You don't get the green light, you're probably not going to pass. You might get lucky, but you don't want to take that NCLEX until you get the green light. So remember that. Don't be the person that's, I'm going to take it, I don't care what they tell me. I know in our RN program we had 3 students that we told do not take it, all 3 failed. All right, so we don't get a lot that fail, but when they don't get the green light, they fail. All right, so thank you, Joey, for sharing that. All right, that's you guys one day, hopefully, and then we also do some community outreach, or not outreach, community events with our alumni. So our alumni get together and do a lot of stuff. We have a really strong alumni association, very much like Premier. Premier's been around since 1991, and I had the pleasure to meet with Heidi and Dr. Fay, and I will tell you guys this. They want to do anything they can to help you guys. Nobody likes the situation we're all in. Our goal is that you guys graduate and become nurses because we need them. Their goal is exactly the same. So that's why they invited us here, is to try to help all of you. So I'm really grateful for Dr. Fay reaching out and Heidi to help you guys. And the goal is that you're a part of our Alumni Association if you choose to go to Stanbridge. I am going to show you, can you pull up the drive, the other things? There's the financial aid programs. I want to jump to one of those. Go ahead. So Lynn would help you, her team, the financial aid office. If you decide to come to Stanbridge, they're going to help you apply to that. But I'm going to show you the schedule. I just want to get into one of those other, yeah, like so I can see the drive that's on the stick. Give us 1 second, guys. I want to transition. I want to show for you guys that are in the VN program here, the diploma, what our VN classes are. So someone that's go to, try that one. Oh, wait, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Go ahead. Get rid of your, yeah. Okay, we can share that. Okay, guys, we're just transitioning to the VN. So this is, if I'm a VN student at Premier, this is how we do our VN program, okay? So these are, again, diploma program, 10-week, not 10-week terms. These are...
Depending on the term that you're in, it could be anywhere between 13 and 16 weeks.
Yeah, so these are more not as structured, okay? So again, take screenshots of that. There's only 4 terms, guys. So I'm going to slide through that, okay? And then I'll go back if you need that. That's the 4 terms, all right? This program, to give you a difference in length, this is about a 13-month program, okay? The AVN is about a 17-month program, so it is a little longer, okay? So I just want you guys to know it's much more enhanced, a lot more hours that they're working. They both cost exactly the same price. So if someone was in our VN, that's why students in our VN program now are scratching their head going, oh, this was nice, but I want to get that degree. And some of them have made the switch right now. They're already jumping into it. So I just wanted you guys to see that. So again, if you don't have screenshots, please do 4 terms. So what we're going to do is whoever you are, we have to take classes individually and look at what you have. There is a cap on how many classes we can take, but we'd have to look and see what's your pathway. For some people, it may be they just get credit for some classes and they got to start in term 2, whatever. We don't know yet. Yes?
For the people viewing online, they're still seeing the financial aid
Oh, can
slide.
you? Okay. Sorry. Thank you for telling us. Oh, yes. Where's this slide? Sorry, guys. We'll get it corrected so you can see this. Thank you for letting us know. We just have to stop and then, yeah, because I want them to see this. Is it sharing? Kathy, can I see it now? You guys confirm that you see. Oh, What's this financial aid?
So click on it, and then click on,
Wait, stop this one.
what do you want to
Are they seeing?
There you go. You change that.
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys, so if you want to online, if you want to get screenshots of terms, each term here varies between 13 and 16 months. This is the diploma program. This is similar to what you guys are in. And again, we need to see case by case to figure out where you would go into this. Okay? So that is all 4 terms. So remember, 4 terms, about 13 months if you had to do the whole thing. Now, we aren't teaching this program anymore, so we are teaching it out for our current students. So we have some students finishing term 1, right? Going into term 2, and then beyond that. So somebody can't say, oh, I want to take your diploma program and start term 1 next week. It doesn't exist anymore. So it's all degree program moving forward for BN, okay? Let me get into the drawing, stop sharing. I'm going to make a change real quick, guys. I want to show you the schedule and the price for the program. And then we're going to open it up for questions. So I want to show a tour. Well, let's do that. Try that top one first. First, let's do the price, and then we're going to take you on a tour. All right. So, and then can you zoom in on that a little bit? All right. Scroll down. Yeah. Go to the second page. Yeah, that page right there. Okay. Okay. Is that saying Catherine online? Okay. Just wanted to check. So the total cost. If you guys want to get a screenshot, you can. So for the diploma program and for the associate program, it's the same thing, although because the strip fees went up, that's the only difference in price, is the strip fees. We didn't raise the tuition, so it's $36,995 plus the STRF fee, okay? It's currently both in LA and Orange County. It is not taught in Riverside yet. We're not approved yet. We're working on it. We're not there yet. The BSN program is approved, it is not approved. So let me show you the, can you do the slide down? All right, let me get to the schedule and everything. Okay, so if you do the full-time program, it's 17 to 19 months if you do our diploma program. If you do the part-time, it's 26 to 28 months. The schedule, there you go. If you guys want to get a screenshot of that, it's perfect. So a couple things you got to keep in mind. It's going to depend on the term when you come to campus. It's going to be between 1 day a week to up to as many as 4, full-time, okay? For those classes, they fall within the 7 to 3:30 range. So you would never have a 5 o'clock class at Stanbridge when you're in the day program, okay? That's the range. When you're in a part-time, then those start at 6 and 10 o'clock range, okay? So the way the part-time works is you go for your didactic classes during the week. It could be Monday through Friday. And then, so let's say you go 1 day. And then you're going to have your lab or clinicals on the weekends. So they're usually, Joey, aren't they a set day pretty much most of the term?
So depending on what track you fall on, you could be going to school Monday and Wednesday, or you could be going to class Thursday and Friday, then take your clinicals on the weekends.
And would it be, so remember, these are 15 weeks at night. Would their clinicals be always on a Saturday, or could it be like 8 Saturdays and 6 Sundays?
Depending on the term that you're in, it could be anywhere between 8 and 12 hours. Could be Saturday and or some Sundays.
Is it ever both?
Not typically.
Okay. I know during the pandemic, it may have been to make up some hours, but it's Saturday, so it might be I'm 2 nights a week and I'm a Saturday, let's say, for that term, but I might have to occasionally go a Sunday, but wouldn't go Saturday and Sunday. All right, so if you do nights. Obviously, it's longer to do that, but we understand people have to work. People need to make money, so we're not discouraging anyone from doing that. That's sometimes a better option for people. So you just have to decide. If I was in the full-time program here, it would be less coming to Stanbridge, Alhambra, than it would be here because we do a lot more online, right? But with the same support. Although I wouldn't want someone to be misled. If you take our full-time program, you cannot work full-time. Absolutely not. All right? You will fail quickly. All right, but people will get the sense, and this is what people make the mistake. Oh, it's online. I'm going to work and do that later. Well, you do have to study. It is a full-time commitment of school. So I don't want to mislead anyone to think, oh, because you might have 1 class a week in person and everything else is online. That is still full-time school, which you should not work full-time and do that. If you are part-time, absolutely you can work full-time and do our program. Okay. So again, make sure those online get a screenshot of that. Thank you. Yep. Oh yeah, and then this is just saying there's financial aid available for those who qualify and our accreditation and so forth. Everything's approved, everything is, there's no issues. Being ranked the #1 LVN program, we have no issues whatsoever. Okay, and then if we want to go to, oh yeah, this even shows, guys, our placement rates. Celeste, you got to work on those full-time ones. This is back from 2019. Now let me tell you how we get these. The way we get those placement rates is, and this is really important for you guys to understand, we cannot publicize somebody placed if they don't tell us how much they make. Okay? So in full-time, #1, it's hard to get a hold of those students. Now, we know they're working. They're at a hospital or whatever. So career services calling, trying to get the information. But if they don't disclose, and I've actually heard students say, I'm not telling you how much I make. So we can't count. That person didn't get placed as far as we're concerned. We're not allowed. So that's why the full-time number looks so low, is they're working in the day, and our career services calling them in the day, or they choose not to. And then if you look at the part-time, why the heck is part-time so high? It's because those students are probably also working a similar work schedule that they did while they were in school, so we're able to get a hold of them a lot easier. All right, so, but in general, it's very high. I mean, you guys can just go online right now and Google LVN jobs, Google RN jobs. You're going to see pay, you're going to see the demand, it's through the roof. I know Celeste and her team are getting constantly, daily requests to hire people. So it's a non-issue, but I just wanted to point that out to you. And then, again, our pass rate for 5-year average is 96%. And if you want to minimize, we don't need that yet. So I'm going to tell you guys, it's a 3-step process to get into Stanbridge. I basically have shown you everything, okay? I'm then going to go over, we're going to show one other thing here, because I want to show them on a tour. And you can minimize that or go to the drive. Stop sharing. So guys, 3-step, you have to hear all this stuff I'm going over. So basically, this is step 1. We're 99% done. If you said, I want to be considered for Stanbridge, really important, guys, we don't, and it's going to be the, go to the LA lab. Yep, I'm going to take you guys on a tour. So here's the thing. We don't require T's for any of our programs. 0 T's, no T's, don't worry about the T's. All right? We require, ready? Accuplacer exam, then I will email you a study guide. It is a 4-part, 2 parts English, 2 parts math. No science, no medical terminology. It's English and math that we send you a free study guide. So anybody online or anybody here today, and I can even get it to Miss Heidi, anybody that wants the study guide, it's no secret, we're going to give it to you, all right? You don't have to pay for it. You review this, and if somebody's going to look at it and go, oh my God, this is easy, I want to test tomorrow, and people will test. So you can test as soon as today, tomorrow. We're open Saturday for testing, usually 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock are the standard times. There are later times as well. If people want to test next week, we can take every premier student and test them in the next 3 days, all right, if they want to test. It's an untimed 85-question test. Other than your time, that's all it takes. If you pass the test, you have to do one final really hard thing, and that's interview with me. Okay? And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you when I ask, how long have you wanted to be a nurse? Why do you want to be a nurse? Who's inspired you to be a nurse? Like, they're not trick questions. I just want to confirm that you're serious. Now, you're already in a nursing program. I know you're serious. It's very much a formality. So it's usually done by our program director or myself. Because of the time of year right now, we have a lot more applicants. I do them on behalf of the program director. And what I would tell all of you guys is, as long as you passed our exam and you show that you're interested in becoming a nurse, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to say, no, that person, they're not excited enough. No, if you meet the requirements, you're going to be fine. Now, if you say in there, I don't even care, I just want to make as much money as I can, that's not what I want to hear. It should be that you kind of want to help people. Now, we all know you're going to make good money, so don't worry about that. You don't have to tell me that. And it's going to, for somebody that's going to change your family and your lives for the better, it's okay, we know that. So we don't have to talk about that. It's just going to be more about why do you want to do this, who inspired you. Oftentimes people will tell me they had a bad nurse and they want to be a good nurse, right? I mean, some of us have experienced it. Sometimes it's, I had a phenomenal nurse and that nurse inspired me. Whatever it is, it's not a trick question. It's just basic, it's a 10, 15-minute interview. I'm going to go through, give you points for your interview. It's also done on Zoom. So like this Saturday, I'm doing a bunch of interviews. So I'll meet with students on Zoom. In an hour, I can see 3, 4 students. Go through, fill out their rubric, tell them right there on the spot if they're accepted. Okay? If I'm worried about something, or you don't pass the test, you won't interview. So if you don't pass the test, you can't interview. If you pass the test, you interview, you pretty much are in. All right? Anybody that wants to do that, tomorrow, tonight, Saturday, I'm off on Sunday, sorry, but I am working Saturday. Monday, whatever, we can jump through that fast. We start classes on May 9th. Anybody that wants to be in that degree program can be in that program, whether it be Irvine or LA. I have room. I couldn't take all 50, but my point is the percentage of people that are probably going to do it, we can take, okay? Now, there are some students from Premier that say, I want to go for the BSN program. You can scrap everything you did. We still don't require T's, and take the same entrance exam pretty much to get into the BSN. All right, we require though 2 tests for that. So one is the Accuplacer, English and Math. The other is ATI, Critical Thinking. Now, here's the secret. You guys have been practicing on ATI, right? People who have practiced on ATI do really well on our test. People who don't sometimes struggle. There's no T's. It's a 40 question, 40 minutes, $40 test. Okay, so it's easy to remember, 40, 40, 40. All right, somebody can do them all on one day. So Accuplacer, no time limit, 85 questions. I'm gonna make up a schedule here. You can say, I wanna come in Saturday, I'm gonna do my Accuplacer in the morning, 85 questions, no time limit, 9 o'clock, I'll be done probably about 11, all right? If you wanna go slower, you can be done 11:30. Then I tell students, go take a break, go walk, go to McDonald's, get a coffee, Starbucks, whatever, and just regather your thoughts, because the ATI Critical Thinking is harder. Now you guys are on ATI, so it's going to be very similar to what you guys already been doing. You're gonna come back, you pay $40, you sit down in the testing room, I'm gonna be given 40 questions, and I have to answer each question in 1 minute. You guys familiar with that? All right? You're gonna read the question, pick the best answer. Now, as you all know, sometimes multiple answers sound correct. So it's critically thinking which answer is the most correct. So again, we're talking for BSN. You pass that test, and there's the score that we want for that, 67.5 on that ATI critical thinking test. So it's critical thinking, it's not T's. So it has to be 67.5 or higher to be considered. Once somebody does that, they also have to interview. And that is usually a panel interview on Zoom. I am one of the people, and occasionally I do them by myself as well. Like yesterday, I had 2 students that couldn't meet in the panel, so I met with them as well. Those are a little harder questions because it's a BSN program. The BSN program is 3 years bachelor's degree, okay? 3 years bachelor's degree. All right, it's $135,000, it's expensive. Pass rate is 98%, and there's definitely some Premier students that are saying, heck with this. No, none of the LVN classes will transfer. Even our LVN classes don't transfer. So it's a completely standalone, different program. So I want people to know. So many students go, well, I want to be an LVN and then eventually want to be a BSN. So this is what I tell people. If you are considering that, because we don't require the T's, and I know some of you have struggled with the T's, that I'm a proponent of the way we do it, because we have, remember, our pass rate's 98% in that program, not using the T's, okay? So we give, if you have the T's, we will take it. You can use the T's, but it has to be 70% or higher. So what we've done is given you the option of Accuplacer and ATI. So people have taken the T's, we can use that. But what I want people to know is you don't have to do LVN and then you go into BSN. I would recommend all of you try for the BSN. If that's your ultimate goal, and if that is your goal, you do that. If you get in, we start June 20th or September 5th. So people could just say, hey, you know, now, this is a financial change in the sense, because I'm almost going to say, I'm just throwing everything away I just did at Premier, and I'm just going for the BSN. I can't decide that for you guys. Now, did you learn something at Premier? Absolutely. Are you more knowledgeable? Are you better than somebody that didn't do stuff? 100%. So what I would say to you, it wasn't a waste, but you did pay some money for that. And financially, that's where Lynn would step in and her team and figure out, what did you use? How much do you have? How does this work? How do you pay for our program, okay? But what I would say to you, if your goal is really to do that, at least try. So it will cost you $40 to try, because you have to do the 2, the Accuplacer and then the $40 ATI exam. And that's what ATI charges us. If you don't want to do that, it's fine, but I just want to give you the option. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to do our LPN program to get into our BSN program. They do not. All right, we accept, as a matter of fact, I have a student right out of high school who interviewed yesterday. He's accepted the program. All right, he has done nothing, right? And I have people, their oldest student was 58 or 9 in the program. I mean, with students all different ages. In high school is not common, by the way. That's probably the most rare. It's usually, our student population is like you guys. So I want to throw that out so you're aware. I want to take you on a quick tour. One of the other things Catherine, was there a question? No, I'm sorry, I kind of saw you. Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure. So this is the cadavers that we use at Stanbridge. All right, this is one of them. This is made by a company out of Florida called Stanbridge Labs. It was invented by a doctor. Anybody watch Shark Tank? All right, season 4, Robert invested $3 million into this company. All right, Stanbridge University was the first college in the Western United States to get these for educational purposes. All right, so in the U.S., there's not a lot of schools that have them. Today, they're more, I think there's a few other schools that do. But Stanbridge Labs, the doctor who invented this for obviously educational purposes, it is a synthetic cadaver. Students love these. It's very realistic to touch. You can peel the top layer open and see all the internal organs, and I mean, it looks real. And I really, if you guys, I don't care where you go to school, come in and see this, all right? Even if you pick another school, I'm okay with that, but come see this because your mind's gonna be blown away when you see how realistic the feel and the look of this is. And you're gonna go, I totally could use that cadaver. We do have real cadavers, a male and female also, but we do have the synthetic cadavers, which the LVN students and of course the BSN students would use. So this is an additional to the anatomy table. If you can scroll down, please. So we also have what's called the virtual reality lab. All right, and this is where you can take things and they literally come off the screen. So if I want to look at a heart, for example, and I want to peel it apart and see how the heart is put together and how it works and what is everything called. So again, imagine, and it does come off the screen, by the way. You wear these glasses and it's like, I always do this. It's right in front of my face. It's the weirdest thing. People think I'm crazy. Like, why are you sitting there doing that? But you can pull it off the screen, you can spin it, you can flip it, you can cut it. So again, another resource, the virtual reality lab is used in our nursing programs as well as our other programs to educate people in a different way that they've never seen before. So again, for you visual hands-on learners, the virtual reality lab is awesome. What else? And everything I'm showing you, by the way, this is the Alhambra campus, okay? So this is, I mentioned the classrooms, so there's a classroom with all the laptops on it. So you don't bring your laptop to Stanbridge, you come and sign into our laptop here, and then underneath is a little turning point clicker thing that we can do that with. This is from the back of the classroom, you can see the smart board there. It's like a big TV screen. So again, we can do videos, we can write on it, we can make it a blackboard, we can make it a chalkboard, we can change it to all different things. And I think when the instructors know how to use it, they're pretty good at it. So I'm assuming you're pretty good at it, right? So again, this is students, these are students in their uniform. We'll scroll through. All right, nursing simulation lab. My favorite part of Stanbridge University is this. You guys have not seen anything yet. So the nursing simulation lab, we have what are called high fidelity patient simulators. So I'll say it again, high fidelity patient simulators. An easy word is like robots, okay? So what happens is, you go into the classroom and you're told, and I think it's in BSN, let's say in term 11, it's maternal. So if a woman's gonna have a baby, so you're told, hey, this woman's gonna have she's going into labor, you gotta go in there and help. So while you're in the room, she starts yelling at you, screaming because of her contractions, and it's very real. She will have a vaginal birth delivery right in front of you. A 5-pound baby comes out, he's crying, or she, I don't know what it is. There's blood on the floor. You get to cut the umbilical cord. All right, and the woman's screaming and yelling at you. All right, if you drop the baby, it's gonna cry. If you make a mistake, it's okay, but everything's recorded and you go in this room and watch it. So if you made mistakes, you're gonna see it right there. And it's amazing when I go in there and the students are all sitting and they watch it, they see right away. Oh man, shouldn't have done that. They know right away. All right, but when you're in this moment, it's stressful, it's emotional. Sometimes the mom has a heart attack. And when the mother has a heart attack, you gotta know what to do. And you start to shake like, oh my gosh, she's having a heart attack, like, because you weren't expecting that. Another time, you find out that the baby's breech. You have to do an emergency C-section. Another time, the baby has a heart attack. So we just keep throwing scenario after scenario. my favorite room on Stanbridge, and I love it when I'm giving a tour and that woman's delivering the baby. It's awesome because students who've never seen this before are like in shock. So this woman, like I said, she can talk, breathe. We have a guy who sweats. He has heart attacks. He has pneumonia. He has COVID. He has strokes. You can push IV medication in him. You can start an IV. If you do it all wrong, he's going to have a reaction. He can sweat on command. He can urinate on command. All right, it's incredible. So this is the type of technology of why people go to Stanbridge, is this is the learning that they're going to learn. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm constantly being thrown all this technology, think how much easier your brain absorbs this information. And take nothing away from Premier. There's a lot of Premiers out there. There's not a lot of Stanbridge out there. And that's what I'd say, when you're looking at schools, what I want you to consider is, do they have this type of technology? There's not. Northwest doesn't. All the other schools out there, they may have pieces of it. They don't have it all, okay? And our sole purpose is to get you to pass that NCLEX on the first time and be phenomenal nurses. That's it. When you're out in the hospital and someone says, where did you go to school? People will tell us, I can tell the difference between a Stanbridge nurse and other schools. They say to us all the time, I know, I'm sure Kevin gets it because you're out of the clinical. People say, I can tell a Stanbridge nurse because they're better prepared, they're more knowledgeable, they understand things that other nursing schools, you can't teach this at another nursing school. Take nothing away, this is really expensive stuff. So we're a little more expensive, that's what you're paying for. The investment is in you and your education. I don't know if there's anything else there. Oh yeah, and then we have, as you guys do, this is one of our nursing skills labs. We have multiple rooms like this at the Alhambra campus. I think we have 26 beds in Irvine, and I don't know how many we have in LA. So 20 beds in Alhambra and 26 in Irvine, and then Riverside's going to have another 20 or so. So, I mean, you guys have something similar, a little smaller scale, but this is what we have here. Not as exciting as the high fidelity patient simulators, but nonetheless still important in your program. You definitely will have class in this setting. And again, we have the smart board in the room, and we'll have everybody get around. I think that is, oh yeah, that's the therapy lab, so that one, that's for our OTA. We do teach OTA and PTA, but not important. So, thank you. All right, so, and we can stop sharing so I can talk. So again, I want to explain one more time. So it's a 3-step process to get into Stanbridge. One, you have to have an interview. This is the interview, okay? Meaning I'm just giving you information and we're going to answer now questions. If you feel like I want to move forward, you take a test. So VN, it's 1 part English, 1 part math. I send you a free study guide. If it's BSN, it's then 2 parts English, 2 parts math, and an ATI critical thinking, okay? Those things can be done as fast as anybody wants to do them. I'm going to, for the people that are here, I'm going to give you a little information sheet. It's kind of like a pre-application. It's just so I can create a profile for you, if you want that. If you don't, fine. If you've already connected with someone at Stanbridge, we already have your information. If you want to move forward, what we're going to do today, before you guys leave, Mr. Abad and Kevin and Lynn, we're here to answer questions. Lynn can answer financial aid questions. Kevin and Mr. Abad can answer the program questions to the best of our ability. So we want to make sure we answer all those, whether it's you guys or for those on Zoom. We want to make sure we get everybody's questions answered. As far as getting in, if anybody wants to start on that May 9th date, so again, keep in mind, LVN, May 9th is the regular full-time program starting. Our next part-time program starts July 5th. So if anybody wants part-time, all right, now, anybody that wants to try to get in and transfer into the VN program, that's again where Mr. Abad and Kevin are going to have to assess the transcripts and figure out where you get in. That's not a quick answer we can give you today. That won't take longer. Any of the pre-VN students, easy, no problem. Those people, we're going to get them transfer credit for those 3 classes. From our knowledge, it looks like it's going to be okay. We just need to confirm that math because I don't have the description. That's the only thing I don't have. But the other 2 courses are okay. We would transfer those in. It would save you money, and you could start on as soon as May 9th if you want for the full time. If you don't want to start that soon, the next full time is sometime in July, I think, as well. And then the part time is July 5th. I think it's the end of July, the next full time. July 25th is the next full-time after May 9th. So if some people want to get in quick, May 9th, I still have seats at both campuses in Irvine and in Los Angeles. All right, is there any chat questions coming up, Catherine?
Yes, so someone asked, do you only have the ADM program, or if we transfer in, can they start the diploma LPN only? If they want to know, is that the only choice?
No, okay, yeah, so for LVN students, we have the diploma program that we are teaching out. So those students that are in your program here could transfer in, but we don't know which term and how many classes we can take yet. We don't have the final answer, all right? But you could do that. For those people that are in the pre-VN, the only one we have is the associate's degree, so they cannot go into the diploma program. So it's an associate's in vocational nursing, basically. We call it AVN. You would have to start in that, the pre-VN students. And there's going to be some students here at Premier, they're going to say, I'm just going to jump into that program, and whatever you guys can take, you can take, but I want the degree. All right, and then the other option is the BSN. Yes?
Is the BSN program also part-time, or is it?
No, good question. Thank you for asking. Okay, so the question was, for those of you online, is the BSN program full-time or part-time? Unfortunately, it's only full-time. So here's what I would tell you. In the state of California, there was only one part-time program, and it was at Mount St. Mary's, and they discontinued it. Nobody has a BSN part-time. And the real reason is they don't need to. We have 800, 900, 1,000 people applying that will do full-time. And here's the real answer, guys. If you did our BSN program, you could work maybe a little more in the first year. The first year is all GE courses in science, so English, math, science, all those. The last two are nursing core classes plus the clinicals. And so what I would tell you is our recommendation is no more than about 16 hours a week when you definitely get to that. You might be able to work a little bit more in the what people call prereqs terms, the first 5 terms. And again, every term's 10 weeks, just like the VN program, 10, 10, 10. So there's 50 weeks of GE courses, and then it's a 14-term program completed. But no, you cannot do it part-time. I don't care what school you go to. If they tell you you can do an RN program part-time, I'm sorry, they're misleading you, and you're not going to make it. It's too difficult. So, and you know what? The reality is, for some people, the AVN, LVN program is better because they can take it at night, or it has a little more flexibility. The BSN is pretty much, no, we don't have to, people ask all the time, do you have a part-time? No, we don't need to. If we had nobody interested, then we'd have to accommodate. There's just too many people that can do it. So, and I understand for people that have childcare issues and other family issues and things, it may not be the right time in your life to do the RN program. So great question, thank you. Yes?
We also wanted to know if there are community college credits and transfer
Yes.
like to BSN.
Yes, community college classes absolutely can transfer. Let me tell you how it works. So you can transfer, in our AVN program, there are up to 5 classes you can transfer, okay? In the BSN program, there's about 11 or 12, okay? So there are more. There are some rules, and the rules are the most strict. We're probably the most strict BSN school. The rules are our science courses only can be 2 years old, so you had to have taken within 2 years and have a B or better. So that would be chemistry, biology, microanatomy, and physiology. So those 5 classes, 2-year expiration. And then everything else is a 10-year expiration. So English, speech, psychology, that's 10 years with a C or better. All right? So we're pretty strict on those classes, though, like that. But yes, you went to community college. So a lot of our students, here's what I would tell you. We have premier students like this. They've been to a community college, and we're taking some prereqs for a nursing program, right? Then they're taking premier classes. So you really have to decide, if I took prereqs for an RN program, is it just better to go directly into that and transfer the community college stuff and just leave the premier stuff, let it go? Because you're not going to be able to transfer into the BSN program with any of that stuff. So you have to decide, do I want the RN program, or do I want the LVN or AVN program? You have to decide that. And here's what I'm telling you, here's the honest answer. It's whatever you want to do. All right, so meaning, I'm not going to say which one's better. It's your choice and your decision. We will help you with both. My recommendation is test for both. Test like you're going to be an RN and see, do I have even a chance to get in? If you do, then you have a problem. Hey, I'm accepted to the BSN program. Crap, I wasn't thinking I'd get in. I couldn't pass the T's. Right, now I'm in. Now, I have people that tell me that. I couldn't pass the T's, and they get accepted to our program. It's okay. And they do fine in the program. So what I would say to you guys is, if you're thinking at all, RN, take that, it's gonna cost you 40 bucks. Take the test and just see if you can pass it all. If you don't want to, then you just take the 2 English and math for active placement. Go ahead, Kevin.
So I know a lot of students ask, and I'm sure if you guys have some of your prereqs done, a lot of students ask, does having my prereqs completed, if I get transfer credits, will it take time off the program?
So it can. So here's how it works. And I'm assuming, and I don't know, you guys can tell me, you guys on a cohort of so many students? Are you limited on how many students you can have in each class, right? So for all of ours, it's the same way. Meaning in our BSN program in Alhambra, we can have 40 students per class. That's it. So let's say I am a student that has a bunch of the GE courses and I want to take BSN, but I want to start in term 2 or term 3. If there's a seat available, yes, you can slide into that class and jump into term 2 or 3 if we're under 40. If we're not at 40, then guess what? If I were to start in June, so remember, 36 months for our BSN, I start June, in 3 years, I'm an RN. So I could start in June, and let's say I started in June, but I had everything in the first term. Well, I'm a student in the class, but I'm not a student. So I would go work your butt off and save as much money as you can, because later I'm not going to be able to work as much. So for 10 weeks, you're working, hustling, saving, so that term 2 starts in September. Now I meet up with my classmates. And that does happen. Now, sometimes there's a seat open. So in June, instead of starting in term 1, you have everything in term, you can start in term 2, but we just have to see, is there availability, because the cohort can only have 40 people. We cannot have 41. Then we're not compliant. But great question. So thank you for bringing it up. That is asked often. Yeah, what's the question, Catherine?
Let's see, I got a couple. Someone wants to know if they start with the PM program, when they can graduate, if they start May 9. So I
Yeah, so remember, I'd have to look at the exact dates. I don't know if you know them off the top of your head.
I don't know the completion date.
Yeah, but it's roughly 17 months. So I can get you, for the person asking that question, we can get you that exact answer. I don't know, Lynn may be able to look it up. I don't know if you can. You gotta get an admin. We can find out. I don't know if it's gonna take 17 months. What it ends up, we say 17 and 19 months because it depends on holiday breaks, where the Christmas break falls and all that. So that's why we wanna, in each break in between terms and so forth. So we wanna, we're covering ourselves to say it's a range of 17 to 19. It may be 17, and we can count 17 forward, but I don't want to say that and we're wrong. So Lynn can try to figure out the exact date for us. So very good question. Sorry, you stumped me on that one. And then there was another question.
Is there an ADN program still?
Yeah, so there is an ADN program currently on Teach Out. So Stanbridge University started in 2015 teaching ADN, Associate's Degree in Nursing for RNs. That is on its final Teach Out, though we switched in 2019 or 20 to BSN. So we're not approved to offer both. We're approved to teach out the ADN, but any new student coming in has to go into the BSN program. There's no other option, unfortunately. So, and there's, you know, obviously community college is a good option for that, but it's impacted. I have students that have been trying one guy was trying for 7 years to get into community college. He cried like a baby when he got accepted to our program because he is so elated, but it was so hard because he's been so frustrated chasing the prereqs and trying and on a wait list. So what I would tell you is our process is by next Friday, anybody wants to get in our BSN program, I can say you're going to get accepted. Or if you get waitlisted, we're going to tell you what you have to do to get in. So in a week, it's really fast. So, and again, if you want to go slow, fine, but if you want to move it fast, I can tell you by next Friday after being in our BSN program. Lynn, did you get the answer?
Full-time is November 2023.
So full-time, the end date, if you start on May 9th, is November 2023. So hopefully everyone heard that.
Minus their transfer credits.
Yes, so minus the transfer credit type of thing. But in the VN program, that won't really accelerate you that much. It's not going to accelerate them that much, honestly. Yeah, it's just cost. Cost would definitely drop, but not time per se. So, all right, you guys have great questions. What other questions? Don't be, yes?
Is there possible teach out time for us? Here?
Okay, so the questions from which term are you in, or which?
Term 3.
Okay, term 3?
Yes.
So term 3 student in the VN program is there a possible teach out? Yesterday, our president was on the phone with the BVNPT and Director Lopez, they were researching to see what our options are. Honestly, today we don't have that final answer. I don't know. It's a really complicated situation. It's not, the VN, pre-VN's easy. The rest of you guys, I feel bad for. I don't have a simple answer for you. And we're going to do our best to get that. And that's what these two gentlemen are going to do when they get your transcripts and see, okay, here's your transfer of credit option, what it saves you, and what's our option on a teach out. I mean, obviously we have to figure this out pretty quickly. So we're trying to see legally what we can do and what our options are. I don't have a 100% answer today. Here's what I would say. It's really complicated, and it's not a quick thing. Like, it may be a lot, like weeks before we get an answer. But we know the transfer of credit things we can find out pretty quickly. I don't want to overpromise something that we can't do either.
Right.
It may not be a possibility. Yes?
If someone wanting to know if they do the diploma VM program, when can they start?
What are our, so if you mean the, yeah, so diploma program VN, when can you start? That one is term, yes. So technically you would be, like an easy answer is, well, you could transfer in classes and start in term 2 maybe or something, but again, I don't know. That's the teach out question. We don't have that answer yet. And we don't have any so new starts, yeah. So we don't have any new starts, but we would go into term 2 or term 3, and we have to see, that's the teach out. We have to figure out how does that line up with what you guys took. Now, guys, you didn't have this technology. We know that, right? So here's what I say to students. If you're a term 3 student, imagine the term 3 students at Stanbridge, the technology they used, the stuff that they did. It's, to be quite frank, it won't be the same. I'm not saying you're not as smart as they are. I'm not saying you're not as good. It's taught differently. That's where we have to see, how does this all line up? Is it possible? I wish the easy answer was, oh, you're just going to jump into our term 4 and finish out. It seems like it would be that simple. It's not. It's just the way we teach. Ours is pretty complicated. That's the truth. So we are looking at it. So before I say it's 100% no or yes, we'd rather give us a few more days to research. But great question. All right, what other questions? Go ahead. Don't be afraid to ask, guys, please. Did I get them all?
Yeah, I think you
okay.
covered it.
And any others? Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Someone wanted to know what if they don't transfer anything to VM, then what would they start with?
Yes. So if you don't transfer anything into VN, you would come in on May 9th, if you want to start on May 9th, and you would start with anatomy, med math, all those 4, I can pull them back up, but those 4 classes you would start with. And if you do full-time, then if you do part-time in July, it'd be the same classes. Just remember, full-time's 10-week terms, part-time are 15-week terms. So full-time moves pretty quick, with those 10-week terms. Same student service support in both, same career services availability, all this, everything's the same. It's just a matter of how fast do I want to do this and can I do it? I mean, for anybody that wants to do this, that's the easiest. I mean, there are some students that are going to say, I just want to jump in. Okay, no problem. There still may be some transfer of credit possibility on that, but you're transferring classes, you're not doing a teach out. The teach out's the most complicated, difficult, because we have to look at all your course descriptions, the hours, what was taught, how it was taught, and that's being researched right now. So yesterday, today, and we're going to continue to do it and try to give you the best answer we can. So I'm sorry I don't have that today.
And then someone was asking, if they don't transfer any credit, can they get into the diploma VM program?
No, because okay, good question. That's a great question. If you don't transfer anything in, because we stopped teaching our VN classes in November. All right, so the diploma program stopped in November. So the students have finished term 1? Or
Yeah, all of our current diploma programs have already passed term 1.
so they're basically going into term 2. That gets really complicated. Like, we'd have to see what you guys can transfer and where that falls. So transfer credit is the easiest way to do it, but you're not going to be able to, I don't think someone can transfer to term 4 or 3. I mean, I'm not the expert. That's why we have attorneys and people talking and looking, but I don't know. That's really hard to do.
There could even be a possibility that if we were able to transfer anything, that you may even have to take a term of a class that you may have already taken. So that, because it's such a complicated process, that could also be a
Yeah,
possibility.
it's definitely on an individual basis, so we need to see your transcript, see where you are, look at the grades and everything, and make that determination. Now, whether you're looking to do the BSN or the LVN/VN, it's still the same process to get in, all right? Meaning, we can't just go, oh, come in and we're gonna finish you. You still have to qualify for the program. All it is passing that test and having an interview. But, so it's not like complicated for that VN program, but you still have to do that process as well. We still have to honor the process that we have. I don't think most of you, if not all of you, would have an issue with it, but you have to do it. So, any more online questions now? No, you guys have great questions. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, yeah, please.
The passing grade for each term?
Oh, yeah, the passing grade
For
is it
the
VN?
VN, it's 75.
For each term,
Yeah.
all the way to
All the way through.
Oh,
Yeah.
77.
Is it
On our exit exam, our cumulative exam is 72%. But all exams thereafter are 75.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, just as a comparison, for the BSN program, it's 75% on the GE courses, 77% on the nursing core classes, so it is harder. So just
So
just
the
FYI,
BSN is
to
really
keep
tough.
going for those
Oh.
nursing core classes. I mean, if you get a 76, you failed the class. Even though that's a C, you failed. Has to be 77.
That's for the BN, right?
BSN.
Oh, BSN.
Yeah, BSN
Okay.
is much harder, so I'm saying the standards are much higher.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a harder program. It's a bachelor's degree versus an associate's or diploma, so it's definitely a higher standard.
Yeah.
In the state of California, we have one of the highest pass rates at 98%. But it's great. It's a great program too, but it's 3 years of your life, so you have to decide.
Yeah.
But there will be some students that go, heck with it, I'm skipping all this VN stuff and going straight BSN. And that's why I say, if you get in, try. If you get in, then you have a problem. You got to decide, what do I want to do? Getting into the VN program is going to be easier than getting into BSN. So I say just test both. Similar process, except one additional ATI exam. You guys all have an advantage over the outside students coming in right now because you're practicing on ATI. 40 questions. You know?
So for the BSN, it's going to be 77%
Yes,
throughout
for the
whole-
nursing core, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the GE courses are 75 though.
G for 77.
It's 77.
Okay.
Yep.
Ah,
Okay,
thank
what
you
else?
so much.
Can I ask you guys a question? In the event that you guys do transfer to Stanbridge and become a successful year for you guys, what are your expectations? What are your expectations of the nursing program? Obviously, you'd be leaving here and transferring to a new campus. What would be your expectations of a whole new program?
I'd be open to that. I have something from you and all the stuff you have, I would consider probably a little bit more on higher up than what we feel like. So, obviously with that.
Anybody else want to share?
Well, my expectations are that we have someone at Stanbridge that would be able to teach us and to educate us and to help us to reach that goal of ours to be like the best nurses that's out there. I mean, because there are a lot of people out there right now, nurses that are just not good. And so what my hopes are is that we'll attend a school that has people there that are knowledgeable and that are equipped to give us everything that we need to go out there and kick butt, to be great. That's my expectation.
At the LA campus, as a program director, Mr. Kevin wasn't able to introduce himself earlier. He's our clinical coordinator, so he's responsible for obtaining all the clinical sites. Him and I work very closely with all of our students. Those who have a few areas of weakness, we like to sit down with them individually and determine or figure out what areas they are that they need to improve on. And it's been fairly successful once we've really got our hands in.
So we offer a lot of, I don't know, did you guys go over tutoring?
I did. Go ahead.
So we offer different types of tutoring. We have peer tutoring that we have students that recently graduated that actually do a lot of tutoring because a lot of times students get very intimidated to come sit down and ask questions like, oh my God, I don't want them to think that I don't know any of this material. But that's not the case. Like you said, we want you guys to finish. So we have peer tutoring. We have tutoring with different instructors. They always have time available. And then usually a lot of times, like Mr. Joey and I said, that we sit down with you guys or with the groups and we actually go over like the material. Because I think you're looking at some of your curriculum, the way you guys do your curriculum. You guys have all your classes based in one term, is that correct? and you guys need so many points to pass the whole term. So the way we do at Stanbridge is all of our classes are individual. So respiratory, cardio, endocrine, GI, you actually have to pass an exam to move on to the next course. And if you aren't successful in that exam for that particular course, you have to remediate and be able to pass. So if you're not able to be successful, then you would actually have to stay back to move forward. So it's not just a whole 5 classes in one term you move forward. Each class is actually individually broken down to take your exams. So you need a 75% on each exam to keep moving forward. So that's how it
And with
works.
the support that we give,
Yes.
like Mr. Kevin and Mr. Abad, other people, we're very successful at doing that. But the biggest mistake people make is they're afraid to ask for help or they don't ask for help. So we can't make you get a tutor. We can't make you study. But we're very clear up front, this is what you have to do to be successful. And you just do it. Either you do it or you don't.
I think I want to kind of add on to that. It's not so much that the students are afraid to ask for help. What we're seeing is that students are asking for help too late.
Yeah.
Way too late. When you're literally at the last one, right? We encourage all of our students to make sure that you get help right when you need it. Right?
Well, the other thing is people say, I love when people say this, if it gets, are you going to work? Yes, I'm going to work. How many hours? Oh, I'm going to try to work as many hours as I can. And if it gets too difficult, I'm going to cut back. Let me tell you, when it gets too difficult is when it's too late. So I always tell people, you got to go the opposite way. I'm going to start with the minimum hours I can survive on, and then get used to the 10-week pace, get used to Stanbridge, get used to the technology we're using, and then add more hours once you get through a term or so. Then you don't have to cut back, because when you say, I need to cut back, I'm overwhelmed, you aren't going to dig out of that hole. And that's what we find that happens. You got to do the opposite way.
And one thing we love to do, and I love to do when I go into my early classes and tell students is, and Mr. Joey knows this all the time, what type of learner are you? Have you guys ever went online and actually found out what type of learner you are? And print out your results and actually put that into work? If you're really honest with yourself, go online. There's so many tools you can find to find out what type of learner you are, because every class that you run into is going to be different. Sometimes you're going to find cardio is really easy, right? Then you get into endocrine, and it's going to be very, very difficult. But your same study habits and material is not going to work. You're thinking like, oh my gosh, I do the same thing over and over again, but how come I'm not passing? How come I don't understand the material? So that's what we tell you guys. We try to find out, we'll sit down with you one-on-one and we'll find out what type of learner you are and help you put together your study material so you pass your exams. And that's one thing, it does take a little bit of time, but that's something you guys need to come and reach out for us. So we're always available, even though, yes, we have busy schedules. You'll see us, we're there all the time. We do ask for raises. I'm just kidding, so you guys not paying attention, but no, we do. We want to see you guys be very successful in this program. And so, yes, but yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, honestly, you guys, depending on where you are right now in your program, you know that, like Mr. Michael says, but Joey said, everybody's going to tell you working is very, very hard because you have to study. Do you guys know exactly the study time, give or take here much, for every hour of class you have? So every class you have, in theory, should be about 2 hours of study time. So imagine you have 10 hours a week. That's, how much math is that? We know basic math, right? So that's a lot of studying time. Some things you're going to grasp a lot quicker than others, right? Some things you're not. So really, really, it's a lot of time you guys have to put, because what are you investing in?
Yourself.
Yourself, right? So you're investing in yourself, for your family, a better life, for your kids to show them, hey, you know what? It can be done. There's lots and lots of reasons why people go to nursing, but ultimately you're investing in yourself. So it's 17 to 19 months, 20 to 24 months. Is that really a big deal? Right? Honestly, for you to have a better life, sacrifice. Family, friends, everybody will understand. And actually, most of the time, they'll respect you a lot more. You're like, you know what? I'm so proud of you that you did that. Even your friends, everybody else. So it's one of those things that you really have to put the time in for yourself to understand. We've all done it. That's why we're standing here helping you. Your teachers here, everybody here has put that work in. So, and like you said, teachers that want to be there. Nurses that are terrible out on the floor. You've seen it, like, wow, those are really bad when you guys are clinicals, right? Don't be that person. It doesn't take that much.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say, guys, we do need more instructors. So we've been talking to Ms. Heidi and Ms. May to say we want to get resumes from some of the faculty here at the EN program. We're going to try our best. There's opportunities at Stanbridge for them. So we're going to look at that as well. So some of them may be there. I'm not sure, and Ms. Heidi said we could use the facility here and things that we need. I don't know if we need to. We have a pretty large facility in Alhambra. but it's nice to have that offer, and we appreciate that. I just want to close with one thing to say, no matter what you guys do, it's okay, you got to do what's right for you, but I really encourage you, if nothing else, please come in here and have a tour of this, to see this stuff. And same goes for you, Ms. Heidi, you're welcome and your staff to do that. It's phenomenal. You're not going to see this stuff everywhere. I just had one of our competitors come in, and they said, I want to see what you guys have, and she was blown away. And we want people to see this. We want classes to come in, even from other schools, to educate them on what we have and what's used in the nursing world. So, again, I want you guys to come in. You have an open invitation. You go on our website. You can just put in your information or call the phone number and say, can I come in for a tour? We're pretty much available from about 9 a.m. till about 8, Monday through Thursday. Fridays we close around 5, and then every Saturday we're open. So whether you want to see the Irvine campus, the Alhambra campus, we want to accommodate you. Again, even if you just want to come and say, I just want to get a tour, it's okay. You know, if you're not ready to do anything, no one's going to twist your arm or make you feel uncomfortable. And if they do, I want to know about it. We want to help you guys. Our goal is your goal. I want you to be nurses. Ms. Heidi and Dr. Faye, they want you to be a nurse. However we can get you there. If it's not at Stanbridge, that's okay. We still need nurses. Okay? So, but we want to help you. We want to educate you as much as we can and guide you. Does anybody have any questions for our financial aid director?
Yes.
Go ahead, please ask.
For that process, for some of them, the ones that we got loans and grants, anything, how you guys are gonna be able to kind of guide us and stuff, or?
Yeah, so if you transfer credits over, then any loans that you might have, you would still be responsible for repaying that back, because essentially you're using the education that you've earned that per year. Now, if you're transferring over with no transfer credits, you may possibly get your loans what we call discharged, because then you actually never completed the program, not because it's your choice, but it's due to, you know, the loss that you've experienced.
So you'd be like embracing everything.
Yeah.
So it's bad to transfer classes in that case. Because if you transfer classes, you were saying, yep, I'm paying
You're
for it.
using what you've learned, what you've earned. But if you don't transfer credits, then you're saying, okay, I never used any of these. I never completed my program. That's a lost opportunity there. So you can possibly get that loan discharged.
And our financial aid office will help you through that process.
Oh,
It's more, yeah, so don't, you're not on your own on that. Just know it's more complicated. So transferring in classes, you really have to decide, if I want to do that or go to teach out, I'm still responsible, which is the other way, not. And again, another thing we can't answer for you, but we'll tell you what your options are.
Okay.
And Lynn and her team will meet with you guys one-on-one and do like a Zoom over financial aid and show you your options. So don't, I mean, we can answer general questions like that, but you may have different circumstances financially than he does, so they're going to meet with you each individually if you want to go through that stuff.
Every single student is a different situation. Me and my team, we hold our students hand every step of the way up to a point to where we even help you reset your FAFSA password, explain every form, help you complete the FAFSA form, everything from step 1 to the end. We're there for you.
Yeah, we have a big team of financial aid officers. They'll help you fill out the FAFSA and everything. I think they hold their hand a little too much. It's nice though. It's a nice customer service, but we do that. All right. Any other either financial questions or career services or general questions? Don't be afraid, guys. Please ask. This is important. Don't be embarrassed. Ask. You good? How about online? You good? All right, guys. I want to thank you, and again, I want to thank Ms. Heidi for reaching out. She reached out, guys, for you and said, I don't care about anything else. I care about these students, and I want to help them. And we met with Dr. Faye and her, and that message came across very clear. And Mr. Lopez and I were really grateful for, they were very honest and upfront about everything. They're not happy what's happened either, but they want to do the right thing for you guys. So again, if it's Stanbridge, we'll happily take you over and help you. And if it's not, go finish the journey somewhere. Don't give up just because this happened. It's not going to happen everywhere. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You guys give me those sheets, and I